Hello everybody, this is Ruru back again, and today we'll be looking at SH Figuarts Sora. I picked this up from ASIN 2018, and which was in May, so it's been a long time since I got this figure. I kind of forgot I had it because it was stored underneath some other figures that I was going to review, so it's time to review this figure. Better late than never. Anyways, one thing I could already point out with this figure is that it's really small. Even the box is very small. And let me just bring a PS4 controller for size comparison. It is incredibly small. Especially compared to his Playarts Kai figure. But there are differences between the two that make them both good in their own way. Anyways, enough about that. We'll take a look at the packaging real quick. It's in a nice grayish, silverish kind of color scheme. And we've got the figure right here, SH Figuarts Sora. Some Japanese text, Tamashii Nation, Bandai. Nothing much on the side here, just more logos, nothing much on the top. On the bottom, nothing much here. On the side we have Sora. And in the back we have pictures of what the figure can do and the poses it can get into. So let's take this figure out of the packaging and take a closer look. And as you can see, it's in a plastic tray, protected. It actually came with some more paper in between this to protect it even more. So let's open this up. And here is Sora out of the packaging. And as you can see, he looks really good. Oh, let me move that light up a bit. There you go. And as you can see, he's really detailed, and for a small figure. So, looks just like his video game counterpart. But like I said, he is extremely small. And I guess that would be the only issue here. But before we take a look at Sora, let's take a look at his accessories he comes with. He comes with two alternate faces, a screaming face and another face, which I don't know what the difference between the two are. We have two right here, and I really cannot tell the difference. He kind of looks bald without the hairpiece, but yeah, I really cannot tell the difference between the two faces. Maybe they're looking a separate direction or whatever, but yeah. Anyways, the one I'm interested in is this one, because as you know, the Playarts Kai one doesn't come with any sort of exchangeable face. We've got a pair of closed fist hands. We got a pair of open palmed hands. Take a look at that closer. Pretty good sculpt, pretty good paint. Not the best, but still. And we have a pair of hands that are stuck together. I dropped it. Stuck together so that he can hold the Keyblade with two hands and do that pose where, you know, yeah. And of course we have the Keyblade itself. Well, if it focuses, which looks really cool. Nice, actually has a metal chain, and it is unclippable as well, I think. Yep, it is unclippable. Unlike the Playarts Kai one, which is made out of soft plastic. And it's got a nice gold paint to it. Kind of looks metallic. Actually, let me bring up the Sora's Keyblade from the Playarts Kai version. Here he is with the hand still on it because I can't take the hand off. Like I said in my older reviews, it's stuck on there now. And just look at these two. And this one's also kind of thinner, which is not as accurate as this one, but it does have these rivets or holes in there, which make it look more accurate, and it has an actual metal chain as opposed to just plastic. So like I said, there are two things that they're different, but they're good in their own way. Anyways, let's take a look at Sora himself. And like I said, he's really accurate. I love how he looks here. And then let's take a look at his... Well, let's just take a closer look at his paint. There are some problems with the paint here. It's kind of splotched on there. From close, you can see it a lot more. But it's a small figure, so I guess I could look past that. And like even his chain isn't a separate piece. I think the... Oh no, the Playarts Kai one is not a separate piece, but still, it looks better than this one. Here's his shoes. And the reason I got this was because it's just a smaller version of a Playarts Kai figure, but with better joints, and it holds up a lot better than Playarts Kai. Let's take and to change the faces, you just pull his hair off from the front. If I can get it off. Let's see if I can do it. There you go. And he looks, forget about that. Take the face off, kind of like a Figma figure. I'll change it with the yelling face. And then you just plug his hair back. And that's his face changed. And I like the detail with that yelling face. I just like that a lot better than Playarts Kai, because now you could do all sorts of action poses and everything. But yeah, his articulation, he can look up, not so much. He can look down a fair bit. He can move his head a little bit, tilt it. He can look left and right. He can move his hands. Oh, his neck's also on a joint too a little bit. And his arms can go in and out to that much. Can go forwards, backwards. It can't rotate full 360 because of his hoodie gets in the way. He's got a bend here, 90 degrees. He's got a bicep swivel at his wrists, and can go forwards and backwards. He's got a chest crunch. He can crunch just a little bit. He's got a waist joint, and it could also move him a little more forwards and a little more back. And a little bit side to side, not too much. And his legs can go forwards, backwards. And if you, just like any other SH figuarts, if you move his leg a little more down, it's on a little joint here, you can move his leg up more forward and more backwards. And then you just push it back. And of course he can bend at the knee 90 degrees. Can he rotate here? I can rotate a bit. He can swivel his boots. And they also have the tilt. The tilt is inside of the boot. So it's on a ball joint, but it's inside of the boot. So the boot itself cannot do the tilt. It's inside of the boot. And his toes have articulation as well. They can go forwards and backwards. And one thing I forgot is that his pouches are actually detached right here, so that they allow for movement and they don't get in the way. You can't even tell that they come apart. Oh, and he's got a pretty decent crotch spread. You can get him in a lot of action poses. So yeah, here he is compared with another SH figuarts that I have, the Red Ranger with his Green Ranger armor, and as you can see, they're pretty much in scale. I guess Sora's a little more shorter, but if I remember, I think they're like 16, he's like 15, so I guess the size is pretty okay. And here he is with Marvel Legends 6-inch figure, and they kind of scale. And of course, I had to do a comparison between SH Figuarts Sora and Playarts Kai Sora. As you can see, the height difference is the biggest difference here, and his face sculpt is different too, as you can tell here. I'm so leaning towards SH Figuarts to be the better face sculpt here. He looks just a lot more accurate, and more expression is in his face and everything as compared to the SH Figuarts. He kind of just stares into your soul. And his hair is more cleaner, and it looks a lot better. This one, it's okay, but it's even got the gradients. That's another difference. This one has a lot of gradients, and this one does not. Although I was never a huge fan of the gradients on a figure, because it just makes it look a lot more. It makes it look a lot more dirtier, or not. It just looks more cleaner and more defined on the SH Figuarts. But other than that, I guess their main difference that makes this one worse is that his joints are not holding up. I can lift his hands, but they don't stay up as much anymore. Their joints are getting a lot looser over time, whereas I know SH Figuarts are going to last for a lot more longer because their joints are pretty tight and they hold up better over time. Because I have more SH Figuarts than I do Playarts Kai. And other than that, there's no other difference. I mean, they both are good, like I said, but I'm actually leaning towards this one to be the SH Figuarts to being the better figure, and hopefully they'll release more. I know they have Goofy and Donald that are out. And I'm on the fence because the main issue with this figure is that it's $60, and that's kind of a lot for an SH Figuarts. But yeah, I don't know. Goofy's gonna be like Goofy's 50, and Donald's like 40, which is a lot for, those figures are small to begin with. But it just all depends on what you want. I think this one's more accurate than this one. It looked better before when it first came out, because there had never been any figures out of Sora, so I guess that's why I kind of splurged on this one. It was like $90 at the time, but now I don't know, I kind of want more figures to be out on this range. And yeah, I'm aware there's a Kingdom Hearts 3 Sora and a Kingdom Hearts 3 Riku, and I'm not sure what company came out with that, because I don't think it's SH Figuarts, but they're in the 6-inch scale, so hopefully I'll be able to pick those up. I think I'm done with Playarts Kai for now with Kingdom Hearts anyways, just because it's a solid figure, but some of the joints are kind of loose, some of them are not. Like, this is fairly solid as opposed to this one, which is not. So again, that's bringing up old wounds, but it's not as stable a figure. But yeah, that was my little rant about the Playarts Kai versus SH Figuarts. Overall, I have to say I'm very impressed with this figure for its size, the amount of detail they were able to put into it, and hopefully they'll release more of these figures, because as of now, I think I will be getting the rest of them in the line. Anyways, that's the end of my review. Thanks for watching. There will be more figure reviews and probably more Pokemon card reviews, as I just found a whole bunch of binders that have Pokemon cards in them. But yeah, thanks for watching, and stay tuned. Fuck me.